The Israeli army announced that it had destroyed most of the stockpiles of strategic weapons in Syria, carrying out several hundreds of strikes on the territory of the neighboring country, plunged into chaos after the fall of Bashar al-Assad's regime. The Israeli army launched more than 500 airstrikes on military targets in Syria. In the statement of the Israeli army, it is said that defense systems and squadrons of aircraft were among the targets that were hit. According to this information, 90% of modern anti-aircraft missile complexes in Syria and 85% of air defense systems were destroyed as a result of more than 500 airstrikes. The statement also claims that squadrons of Russian-made SU-22 and SU-24 aircraft were completely disabled in Syria, and about 40% of the air force was destroyed. Israel is bombing Syria non-stop to destroy the military infrastructure, said professor at Al-Bas University, Ilyas Azuz. According to him, the local population is afraid of bombing Israel because there is no army in the country. Israel has the opportunity to attack. No one can stand up to them by firing at their tanks and planes. Now they are bombing almost all military airfields. People, of course, are afraid because there is no one to protect us. And the situation changes every day. Yesterday evening, according to Israel, they bombed 250 objects, scientific centers, military bases, military airfields, planes, helicopters and tanks. They hit many shots, but for one day they occupied almost the entire city of El Kunitra, which is on the border with Israel, said Azuz. At the same time, Israel has moved its ground forces into a demilitarized zone located within Syrian territory along the border with Israel in the Golan Heights, which Israel already illegally partially occupies. Israel says it wants to create a sterile defense zone and declared the 1974 agreement that had established the buffer zone collapsed. Claiming much of the credit for the lightning advance of the Syrian group, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said to journalists, "The collapse of the Syrian regime is a direct result of the severe blows with which we have struck Hamas, Hezbollah and Iran. The attacks on Syria, Mayrav Zontzine, a senior analyst with the crisis group, said, "We're a mixture of both opportunism and strategy."
Thousands gathered at Syria's Umayyad Mosque in Damascus for the first Friday prayers following fall of Bashar Assad's government. The prayers are particularly symbolic as in the early days of the anti-government uprising turned civil war in Syria, protesters would turn out en masse after visiting the mosque. Ahmad al-Shara, formerly known as Abu Muhammad al-Golani, the leader of insurgency that toppled Assad in a lightning 10-day march across the country to Damascus, congratulated the great Syrian people for the victory of the Blessed Revolution on Friday. After prayers, thousands went on to celebrate in Umayyad Square, the largest in Damascus. The crowd included many families with children, while some had come from far-flung areas of the country, including from Idlib, the longtime rebel enclave in the northwest of Syria, for years isolated on the other side of the civil war's battle lines.